All right, guys, so it's time that we have an honest discussion about Tesla's ROBOTAXI event coming up. And I'm going to give you my detailed thoughts here, exactly what I think, exactly what I believe is going to happen, some realistic timelines to getting ourselves there, what to kind of watch for, and also what to be very cautious about, both on the bull and the bear side, because I have this feeling this thing, it's already kind of gotten out of control, but it's going to get a lot more out of control as we get closer there. So I'm going to bring you guys the truth here today. So make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth out the hype. And I hate to tell you, part of getting the truth out the hype, guys, and I know I got a lot of heat in my last Tesla video, is listening to bear cases, to listening to the other side of the coin, to finding the nuggets among all the junk that's out there, especially when we talk about Tesla and negative junk. There's a lot of junk. But it doesn't mean everything that they say is false. There are absolutely, at times, some nuggets of truth, and that's what I was trying to bring you guys with that last video, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I try to bring you guys the truth, the realistic truth of what's going on with great stocks. I love Tesla. I'm a bull on Tesla. I own a lot of Tesla. I hope that it goes to all these different places that everybody tells you, but I warn against very specific things because I understand how investing works, and I understand how Wall Street takes things, and a lot of other factors like that that do matter to your investments. And trust me, all the people blasting me in 2021 for saying Tesla's not going to the moon, it's going to trade flat or down for a couple of years. Well, guess what? A lot of those folks got burned because they were pouring in all in on Tesla at $400 per share or $380 per share, whatever the number was that they poured themselves all into. And here we are several years later now, we're on 3 years now, and you are obviously down a lot from that point. Not only did it not just trade flat for 3 years, it's traded down significantly for 3 years right now. That had nothing to do with me being bearish about Tesla stock. That had everything to do with just understanding valuation and understanding it's going to take time, given where Tesla stock price rocketed to, for Tesla to grow into that valuation. It's why I don't like making predictions out to 2030 and stuff like that, because you can't predict out that far. You could not, nobody had on their bingo card Tesla going down 50% over the course of 3 years. Nobody had, the highest inflation we've seen since the 80s. Nobody had that on their bingo card back in 2021. Nobody had the fastest interest rate hikes ever on their bingo card back then, or anything else like that. So I didn't know anything beyond valuation, which in the end, that's what all stocks fall to, is fair value. And even if all those other factors wouldn't have happened, I still think Tesla would have traded flat during that time frame, or down a little bit, because the valuation got so stretched. I'm sorry, a multiple of over 1,000 is significantly overvalued for any stock in the stock market, regardless of the growth rate. So I knew it was coming down, and obviously I didn't see any of these factors either, but that all contributed to where we're at today. So to be very clear, I am not bearish on ROBOTAXI long term. I just see some things that are going to make it a little bit more difficult than what the bulls are out there pushing out there right now in regards to what's going on with Tesla stock and what's going to happen with ROBOTAXI more importantly. So I put out this video to my group specifically for that, which I told you guys on Thursday, I'm going to do my Tesla earnings preview where we'll talk all about earnings. And I have something special. It's going to be very limited spots. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to get it to you guys. So that announcement's coming and it's for my group there. But in regards to this video right here, this is what I put out to my group in regards to ROBOTAXI when all the announcements were made. And these are the honest thoughts that I had. And so I wanted to share it with you guys so that way you guys had my raw, honest thoughts on ROBOTAXI as well. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk about ROBOTAXI today and kind of some of the noise that's kind of coming up about it. There's starting to build a lot of hype. There's a lot going on with it. I'm seeing a lot of projections, a lot of craziness out there. So let me take you back here a little bit. When Elon announced that he's going to do the ROBOTAXI event, I kind of yawned. I hate to say that. I don't like to say that because I believe in Elon, I believe in the company, but he's had these events in the past over and over and over again. And unfortunately, it's the same thing that happens over and over and over again. All the hype comes up into it, the announcements are made, and we're years away from seeing any of those things actually come to fruition. You remember, the Tesla bot was, basically 2 years ago now, and it was coming the next year. And here we are, and it's a long way away. We're at least 5 years away from anything tangible, in my opinion. And we'll see what the market share is for it and all these other things out there and such. So it's a long, long way off before we actually see anything to the bottom line, which is what matters in the stock market in regards to that. So when I see ROBOTAXI here, I want to talk about very specifically kind of the problems that I see with it and making these crazy projections and everything else. You guys know I don't like to make crazy projections anyways, but let's kind of work through the problem with ROBOTAXI and why, although I watched the event, I'm kind of excited to see what happens there. I'm not excited in regards to what it's going to do to the stock. That's really what I'm not excited about, because I know these things have to fall and they have to happen in order for ROBOTAXI to even be a thing, much less something that's profitable, providing money to the bottom line there. So first off, we have to solve FSD first. And I know everybody's out there saying, oh, this 12, whatever is different. And I hear that every single time. I've been hearing that since, 6.0, that, oh, this one's the one that just shows that we're so close. And it just goes on and on and on and on. So I don't have a real tangible way to show how close are we really? How close are we to actually getting there? I don't know. And unfortunately, you can't get good guidance from Tesla because every time it's next year and then it's not next year. So nobody knows what the actual tangible timeline is for FSD, whether it's in a year, 2 years from there, 5 years from now. None of those timelines would surprise me in regards to FSD. So you have to have that solved first, fully solved, not partly solved, not all the way solved, or, 3/4 of the way there, or it's good enough. It has to be all the way solved. So that's part number one there. That has to happen. That has to happen first before anything else. So you can roll out the ROBOTAXI all you want to. Doesn't matter because you can't solve that. These are all useless. These are just vehicles sitting in lots somewhere. So that's the first piece right there. The second piece is regulation. And I'm telling you guys right now, anything involving public safety takes years to get through the national level in terms of public safety and all that sort of stuff. Now, of course, state to state, different states are doing different things, trying different things. They're open to different technology and such. But overall, in terms of mass adoption of something like FSD to where it's legal, across the states to where the big TAM is, right? I'm not worried about, oh, okay, they're legal in San Francisco. Well, I don't freaking care. That doesn't add anything to the bottom line, anything significant to the bottom lines there. Doesn't matter. So you've got to get that national one done first here. And I'm speaking US specifically. And then you move state to state, city to city, municipality to municipality there in regards to the big overall TAM. And I hate to tell you guys this, there's some states, this thing's going to get very political, very fast. And it's not like everybody wants this. I know we all believe in it. We all want it. I know that we kind of tend to cross, all kinds of, political sphere and age brackets and everything else, but we are very, very much the minority in this. There is a huge chunk here in the US that don't want anything to do with anything autonomous. And unfortunately, most of those folks are older. And unfortunately, the people that vote tend to be older as well. So you can imagine in politicians and areas where that's the way their voters are leaning, they're not going to allow something like that on the road, at least not willingly, and it's going to come with all sorts of entanglements and all sorts of everything else. I'm sure there's going to be legal challenges with this thing. There's going to be a lot of roadblocks that have to be knocked down on the regulation side before we can get to the massive part. Now, I'm not saying it won't get approved here and spot places all over the place, but we're talking about something that adds significant amounts of revenue and, of course, bottom line profits to that bottom line. Got to have those two things first. But that's not all. Then we have to have kind of that mass adoption to the robo-taxi system. Just because they put it out there doesn't mean everybody's immediately going to sign up for that and forget about Uber, forget about Lyft, forget about taxis, and all sorts of other things like that. It's not how it's going to work. And talk to folks who live in some larger cities where there are, taxi lobbies that are very, very strong politically there, where Uber and Lyft and some of those other ones aren't allowed. I'm still shocked sometimes. I go to certain airports and you can't get an Uber there. The city just doesn't allow them to come there because of the various regulations and obviously the lobbies of the other people that are very, very strong. So, and not including the actual mass adoption of robo-taxis being a thing that the vast majority of citizens want. It doesn't matter if it's safer. It doesn't matter if it's better than one option or another. People have their different preferences for different reasons. And I know some folks, I know a lot of folks actually, who will never get in an Uber, much less a robo-taxi. They're afraid, they don't want to get in Ubers because, oh, what if this, what if that, and then a robo-taxi is way outside of their sphere of comfort. They're okay with taxis, but they're not okay with anything else like that. So you start getting into a lot of these different things here and you start to realize it's a long road. Now, do I think they get there eventually? Absolutely. Are they probably going to be the only ones doing it when they get there? Absolutely. But we are talking decades into the future. If it gets there, it may flop. They may not be able to make it profitable. All those sort of questions we don't have answers to. It is not a foregone conclusion that this thing, robotaxi, is going to print money. So when I think about robotaxi and I think about all involved, I think this is, to me, obviously, I am happy if I'm wrong, by the way. If I'm wrong, awesome. We're all going to make a lot of money. But in my estimation, this is years away. And I'm talking, 3, 4, 5 years away at a minimum, that stage, much less how much revenue is it actually going to drive, and then how much bottom line profit is it going to drive, which you cannot project right now. We don't know anything. We have no details. We have no details about the vehicle, much less the cost to operate the vehicle, much less the demand, much less what customers are going to be willing to pay. And then at the bottom line profit, at the end of the day, how much profit can actually drive. Every single projection out there is strictly a guess. And it's a wild guess based on nothing tangible. There's nothing tangible you can guess any of this stuff on right now. So for me, it is completely useless to speculate. And let me kind of think about other things that are happening right now with Tesla that are actually producing bottom line top line revenue, bottom line profits. Think about energy. Think about the growth we're seeing in energy there. It's incredible. Guess what? It really doesn't impact all that much. The financials. So we're seeing great growth rates, but the thing that matters most to Tesla's earnings is how many cars did they deliver, and then what's the margin on those cars. Despite energy growing like gangbusters, it does not even make a dent in all the rest of everything that Tesla doing. And I think ROBOTAXI is going to follow a very similar curve. It's not going to matter for a period of years until it's able to ramp, until it's able to get out there, until there's mass adoption, until all the other things we just talked about happen. So when you start hearing about all this ROBOTAXI stuff that's coming up here, you start wandering, your mind per se, we're not close to it yet, guys. Now, of course, they can unveil something here at this, event. That would be awesome. I would love to see it there. I would love to see more tangible projections, real projections, not Elon projections, but actual projections, some other things of that nature. I really, really would. But for me, this is much more of another hyped up event that's going to get the Tesla retail crowd all excited that in the end is years away from producing anything to the bottom line, which is what I care about. And more importantly, that's what investors care about. Anyways, I just wanted to put this in you guys' ear, and you got to understand those things have to happen. We have to solve FSD first. We have to have all the regulation fall in place all across the country and across the world in order for us to really see the big revenues. Then we have to have mass adoption, basically people wanting it, not being afraid of it, and all the other things that are going to come along with this and it takes time for people to get comfortable with a new tech, right? It's not just an immediate adoption, especially when we're talking about something as big as this. And then we have to see how profitable can Tesla make it and how profitable can they drive towards that bottom line in the end, all of which we have no actual tangible clue about any of it. We are all speculating at this stage, and that does not make for good investing. I am not investing in Tesla right now and buying Tesla because of any of that. I'm just not, because I don't have anything tangible to predict or to look out to or anything else at this stage. So although I'm excited about it, I'm tempering that excitement with this is basically like a call option on the future. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, that's not what my thesis in owning Tesla is based on here. And everybody else getting overly excited and trying to pick apart this and try to figure out that and trying to do all these sort of things. It's pure speculation. None of it's going to be right in the end. We have no idea where any of that stuff's going to be. And remember, if you want videos like that, you want to see all my buy and sell alerts in real time, you want to take 5 courses for free, get free coaching, take advantage of our stock analyzer tool, be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there, get all the exclusive videos, all the exclusive posts. Guys, there's so much involved in the group. Make sure you take advantage of the pinned comment before the Match Madness sale ends and the price goes back up forever. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.